We're going to begin a series of recordings that are PowerPoint presentations that are based upon accessible pedestrian signals, understanding intersections, analyzing intersections, and knowing how to function in teaching our students with complicated intersections. There are a series of modules, and they're based upon a 3-day conference that I held, maybe a little over 10 years ago. I've updated the materials, I've edited them, and I'm going to be presenting them. It's a very important area to understand. When you think about it, you are holding the life of someone in your hands, and it's extremely important for you to understand intersections and to be able to teach them adequately. Sometimes they're so confusing that they look a little like this, but we're going to try to demystify this as much as possible. So our first module, Module A, which ESPA stands for Easter Seals Project Action, relates to the history and the current activities related to accessible pedestrian environments. And actually, there is a MUTD description that I'd like to have you read. Take a look at it following this module. I'm not expecting you to memorize it at all, but it's there for you. It has some history and the actual module, the actual document itself. So, this project had a large cast. We had an advisory board of very prominent people from across the United States, all looking at accessible pedestrian signals and intersections and how to best use the information available there. So what is the value of accessible pedestrian signals? It makes pedestrian signal information accessible to the traveler. It identifies the walk interval, when that begins, when that ends. It produces a locator tone, which we'll talk about in a little more detail shortly. It requires finding a push button. It also helps when there's a mid-block crossing that needs to be made. The locator tone finds that mid-block location. I think it can decrease your own delay or the student's delay in initiating a street crossing, because there's a second source of information that kind of verifies. It's redundant signal information, but it's helpful. So the MUTCD is the Manual on Uniform Traffic Control Devices, and it was published by the Federal Highway Association to provide standards for traffic control devices. It began really in earnest with a 2000 issue, and it has been updated considerably. It's had representation from various organizations within the blindness field. American Council for the Blind, National Federation of the Blind, AER, the Access Board worked with engineers and those organizations to help develop some of the standards. It was revised in 2009 and a final revision in 2012, and it's always being updated. Another area that's important for you to know about is the Transportation Equity Act, sometimes called T21, and it directs that new transportation plans and projects for pedestrian safety, quote, shall include the installation where appropriate and maintenance of audible traffic signals and audible signs at street crossings. So that is a short overview. Please read the introduction to the manual and glance through the manual. It'll serve as a good reference for you.